here at Central Minex 2024 with Gale Force Winds, and I'd like to first of all acknowledge our sponsor, Calibre, for really bringing this conversation alive here at Central Minex. Real thought leaders in the room, understanding the importance that all voices matter. So, sir, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us what you do.
Sure. So my name is Darin King. I'm the Executive Director of Trades NL. And our organization represents the building and construction trades industries in the province. So your plumbers and your pipe fitters and your iron workers and your painters and so on. Part of our mandate is around business development and getting out talking to potential developers of projects and contractors, people that are going to need skilled trades workers. The other big piece that we take ownership in, of course, is apprenticeship and recruiting to the trades. And as I'm sure most people are aware today, there are lots of opportunities. So yeah, we're just happy to be here and happy to be a part of the conversation.
Darin, and you're an important part of the conversation, of course, because everything that we're talking about in the mining industry, the mining sector in Newfoundland, really hinges on the folks that work with you directly, the tradespeople of Newfoundland and Labrador. It must be amazing to watch this sector sort of flourish like it is right now.
Well, you know, it's very exciting times, to be honest with you, and the mining sector sometimes falls a little below the radar because the size of mining projects on the construction side sometimes fall below the radar, because when you compare them to oil projects where, you know, we've had as many as 6,000 workers on projects like Hebron, the mining sector doesn't tend to draw those kinds of numbers, but the reality is the mining sector has been an important part of our world for since we've been here, and will continue to be so. And with so much happening not only in central Newfoundland, but in Labrador and in other parts of the province in the mining sector, it just creates so many tremendous opportunities, and you know, we need this sector to put our people to work, and reciprocal, the sector needs us because they need the workforce to develop their projects. So it's a very much a collaborative relationship, and it's just really good to be here and see the excitement today.
That's great. Of course, Trades NL, you offer a big tent. And what I mean is that everybody there is welcome. I know this to be true, whether it's Indigenous groups, whether it's underrepresented groups, new Canadians, veterans. You have a lens on all of those, and you want everybody inside your tent. Talk to me about the importance of that.
Sure. So you're absolutely right. Thank you for the lead in, because you're absolutely right. Helmets to Hard Hats, for example, is an organization that we are a part of, which is an organization that tries to place retired veterans into the trades. We have an Indigenous skilled trades office, a booth set up here today with 3 offices across the island, St. John's, Goose Bay, Happy Valley Goose Bay, and on the west coast in Corner Brook. And you know, we've always been and continue to work closely with the Office to Advance Women Apprentices, promoting women in the trades. You know, I think there's 2 fundamental issues there. One is we need trades workers, and we need to tap into underrepresented groups like that. And number 2, a diversified workforce is a good workforce. So, you know, when you tap into veterans and you tap into the women's workforce and the Indigenous and immigrants, you know, new Canadians and new Newfoundlanders and Labradorians, they all bring a perspective, diversity to the workforce that makes it a better workforce, in our opinion, and really an important part for us as an organization. Yeah,
and you know, of course, the world of the trades can be complicated to work through the apprenticeship programs and find placement stuff, and that is exactly your sweet spot. You kind of help them understand the complexity of all this and sort of quarterback and guide them through that. That's an amazing offering.
Yeah, it is, and you're absolutely right. And once again, it can be very complicated, and it can be intimidating for lots of trades workers. You know, from going into your primary training, if for example, if you want to be an iron worker, doing your primary training, and then understanding the next steps, where you go out and you get some experience, then you have to go back and do a block, then you go back, work again, you go back and do another block, and navigating all of that is not easy, and it can be intimidating unless you have some support, and we try to provide that support, particularly through our Indigenous Skilled Trades office, and the feedback we get is very positive. We have great workers that do that day in, day out for us, and the feedback we get is just very positive, and people are very thankful Because as you would know, most people would know, unless you understand the system, it's not easy to navigate any bureaucracy within government to get through the hoops. Because at the end of the day, trades worker trains, they just want to get their studies done and go to work. They're not necessarily focused on the process and understanding the process. So we're very happy to be a big part of that and to do what we can to help people out.
Darin, what we see not only in this sector in mining, but across Newfoundland and Labrador is a really interesting intersection of government, industry, and academia. Everybody's sort of working together for the sort of positive outcome of everybody. I call it a rising tide floats all boats. But Trades NL is right at the intersection of all of that. It must be amazing to watch all these pieces come together. I'm sure they're not coming together at all times always, but you're right in that intersection where you're seeing all of these things play together for the benefit of everybody. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, it's it's exciting for sure. I mean, because we deal with government on a regular basis on resource development, like mining and other resources, in terms of workforce planning and making sure that there's going to be a good labor supply. We deal with them a lot on workplace safety, making sure that our members go to work and come home at the end of each day safely to their families. And then on the other side, we work with developers who are making millions and billions of dollars in investments to try and make a project work and move it forward with contractors. So we deal with them in making sure as well that we have the labor ready that they're going to need to do their projects. So you're right, we are kind of right in the middle of all that, and it makes for interesting discussions. And as you said, not always do they intersect in a cohesive manner. There's toing and froing here and there, but at the end of the day, once government gives the approval that they need to give around the environmental piece and around the benefit agreements, our role really kicks in to work with and support developers, ensuring that not only do they have a labor force, but that they have a very qualified labor force who's able to go to work and work safely. Because as anyone would tell you, one of the biggest cost overruns for any project is going to be an unsafe workplace, because it costs a lot of money when you have accidents in the workplace. So we try to make sure that when we send workers out, they're very safe and they understand what they're doing, and they're very qualified for the work that they're being referred to do. But it's exciting to be in the center of that hub, so to speak, for sure.
I really appreciate the conversation, and it's like everybody's in this boat and you're rowing together. It's evident, there's no doubt about that. But it doesn't all happen without a steady hand on the tiller at the other end to provide that leadership and direction. So thank you for your leadership on this, and we certainly appreciate it.
Well, you're welcome. Thanks for the opportunity to have a chat. It's great as always.